Come on up.
How you doing? How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good. So, I was listening to like your early talks.
Oh yeah, talking to the mic,
Oh,
bro,
my fault,
so they
my
can
fault.
hear you.
I was listening to
Thank you,
your
Sean.
early talks about Jews, Zionism, Israel, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Are you strongly believe that like Zionism and Jews control the U.S. government?
absolutely.
But why? Why? Like, I just want to know some like specific like, do you have?
Okay, so I'll kind of start from the beginning here, and I'll kind of explain this because this is I'll try to go through it somewhat quick.
Yeah.
So when I say that Jews and Zionists control America, what I mean by this is they have a ridiculous amount of influence in almost every pivotal infrastructure point in American society, whether it's big tech, finance, the government, media, even pornography, right? Because nowadays that's like a big industry, unfortunately. They have a presence there to a significant degree, right? Television, etc. So what they've been able to do with this influence is use it to their advantage to basically prop up and protect the state of Israel. Because the state of Israel is in a precarious situation because it's surrounded by people that don't want them there, or nations that don't want them there.
Well,
so
there's been some countries, like before October 7th, some countries have worked towards peace with Israel. Like, I forgot, like
Yes,
Arab Emirates, like Egypt.
yes, so
Jordan.
Egypt did in 1978 with the Camp David Accords, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that was something else.
What was that?
I think it was something else.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the Camp David Accords with Saddam and Menachem Begin. But the point I'm trying to, and Egypt, that was back in the 70s. Egypt and Jordan, the reason why they signed those agreements is because they're right on on Israel's borders, and we give them a lot of foreign aid. So we give Israel the most foreign aid. Jordan and Egypt are right there.
Right.
So we basically pay them to play nice with the Israelis, right? But what I'm trying to say is how they control America. So they're at every single infrastructure point, like I stated, right?
Right.
Then they lobby, right, especially within the government, whether they get positions of power or they get power outside of the government and then or lobby like the Adelsons, etc. And they utilize this lobbying to preserve Israel. And they focus on getting our American foreign policy, especially in the Middle East, to benefit Israel. This is why we've had the war on terror, which was a monumental failure. This is why we went to Iraq. This is why we had all these conflicts all across the Middle East was for Israel's security.
Right, but I feel like a lot of it has like died down. Like, did you see when Netanyahu, he went up in front of I forgot where, and like everyone walked out?
Yeah,
You know,
because he was conducting a genocide.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of influence is like disappearing. So,
well, let me put it to you this way: if any other country was doing what Israel did, they would be completely admonished by the entire world.
But there are
they would be
other
sanctioned to hell. They would not be able to. They would like.
But there are other countries that are doing what Israel's doing.
Yeah, and
China.
they get sanctions and they don't get support from the United States. And no one is doing what Israel's doing. There's no one is doing.
China with the Uyghurs, Haiti.
Of course,
you could maybe argue for Ukraine.
I would say what Israel's doing is worse. And the thing is that we give them a lot of financial aid to do it.
That is true.
Right. This is why they're able to run with. This is why they're able to do the reckless foreign policy that they do, because they have unequivocal U.S. support, and it's because they control every infrastructure within the United States.
So then, what's the solution to that?
Remove them from government.
Every single Jew. No longer allowed.
Any dual allegiance Zionist Jew, or Zionist for that matter. I'm not just talking about just removing Jews, but any dual allegiance Zionist needs to be removed from positions of government.
So,
and we need a foreign policy that benefits America only, not Israel. Because Israel serves no strategic benefit to the United States.
I totally agree with America first. Like, I myself, I'm Jewish, but I'm American, right?
Okay.
So, and I totally agree American first. We should put our focus in our own country before other countries.
Yeah.
Like, I do not think we should be sending all this money to Israel.
Yep.
At the same time, I feel like everyone should have some say. I feel like we should have anti-Zionists, Zionists, like all those type of people in the government, because that's what makes a democracy.
I can see your perspective, but the problem is that these people put Israel first, and you cannot put. If you're going to go ahead and prioritize Israel, by definition, America's not going to be prioritized. Right. Because the Israelis have put us in really bad diplomatic positions, which I saw you heard earlier with Qatar and everything else like that. So this is what I mean when I say they have too much influence, and we can't have them having that level of influence in the United States. And all the wars that we had in the Middle East is because of Israel. We've been wasting our time in the sandbox. We should have been focusing on China all this time.
Afghanistan, that was because of Israel?
Yeah.
Why?
The war on terror. The entire war on terror was okay. So back in we started in 1996. Daniel Pearl and a couple other neocon Jews, right, drafted something called the Clean Break Memo. In this Clean Break Memo, they orchestrated a strategy to take over 7 different Muslim countries in the Middle East. Pretty much every country there that was identified has been destroyed or destabilized or cucked and have some kind of deal with Israel and the United States. The last country left is Iran, which I predict we're going to go to war with them probably by the end of this year or next year because the Israelis. And then you fast forward to the year 2000 with the Project for a New America, PNAC. They also were talking about removing Saddam Hussein, etc. And they said they needed a Pearl Harbor-like event to make this change. Well, then a year later, what happens? 9/11. And when 9/11 happens, several Israeli intelligence operatives were caught celebrating and dancing when the towers were hit.
Really?
Oh, you didn't know about this?
No, I generally had no idea.
Yeah, so several Israeli intelligence so there was a movie company called Urban Movie Systems, but there was a bunch of other ones as well, White Glove Servicing, whatever. And all these different movie companies were following these hijackers in Florida and in California. So the reality is this. 9/11 was a terrorist attack conducted by the U.S. deep state, Saudi Arabia, and Israel.
You really?
Absolutely. There's declassified documents now that prove that the CIA knew that these hijackers were in America, purposely didn't tell the FBI about it, right? And facilitated the attacks to happen. And 5 Israelis were caught in New Jersey dancing and celebrating and flicking lighters as the towers were on fire. And they had foreknowledge that it was going to happen.
So you think every single major American event has happened because of Israel?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying 9/11, there's absolutely Zionist fingerprints all over it.
I could see, yeah. But so do you think when
But the Saudis were involved too. My thing is I will call everybody out. So the Saudis were involved, the Israelis, and the United States with the CIA.
So do you think when, that famous picture where the CIA agent is telling, what's his name? Oh my God. The president at the time, what's his name?
There's a lot of presidents.
The guy, 9/11. What's his...
George Bush?
Bush.
Okay. So I know he's young, man. He doesn't even...
No. I used to be able to name my presidents a year ago, but it's fine.
It's fine. You probably weren't alive in that era.
I
Shows my age.
I was not.
Yeah.
So you think he was telling George Bush that the attack was successful?
Well, I think it's important for people to know, during the Bush administration, Bush wasn't the one running foreign policy. It was Dick Cheney. Bush was effectively just letting Dick Cheney run everything with the Office of Special Plans and everything else.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Dick Cheney was the war hawk Dick Cheney and a lot of the neoconservatives, Robert Kagan, Douglas Feith, Paul Wolfowitz, all these guys were, John Bolton, these guys were all neocons, and the majority of them were Jewish, that pretty much worked alongside Dick Cheney to orchestrate the Iraq War, which is, I think, one of the biggest monumental failures in American foreign policy ever.
You think that's the biggest monumental failure in
foreign policy? One of the biggest, for sure.
I think the biggest failure has got to be when Jimmy Carter, that area. With the Middle East?
I mean, people rank him as a bad president, but that's what started the war on terror, was this bad foreign policy.
All right. Thank you. It was great talking.
No worries, bro. No worries.